Recently it was confirmed that Taylor Swift and Matt Healy are getting cuddly. But is this the right move considering how many people have warned us against falling for his charms? Welcome to Beyond the Screen, I'm Nate, and today we're breaking down the top 10 celebrities who tried to warn us about Matt Healy. Number 10. Ryan Reynolds. Actor, producer, and sports manager Ryan Reynolds recently posted a selfie seemingly poking fun at his friend Taylor Swift and her new boo. He posted a selfie with the words "Zoom Zoom" on his forehead while the tune of Chocolate by the 1975 played behind it. While he didn't mention Healy or Taylor by name, the photo came a few days following the swirling rumors that the two were in fact together. While this post may seem playful at first, further inspection would indicate that Ryan is trying to tell us something. Zoom zoom. Think about that. Zoom zoom, a sound normally attributed with speed. Is he trying to say that maybe Taylor is rushing into something with Matty? Or is zoom zoom code to get away from him as fast as she can? Well, nobody knows specifically, but if Deadpool is talking smack about you online, you've definitely earned it. Number 9. Imagine Dragons. This all dates back to 2017, when Healy expressed his dislike towards the band Imagine Dragons during an interview. He said that the band's super hit Radioactive may as well be called Pikachu Banana because it was nonsense. Okay, first of all, no. Secondly, you are nonsense. Imagine Dragons frontman Dan Renolds took the criticism to heart, writing a series of impassioned Instagram posts defending his work. He expressed that he was over the fact that people from other bands felt the need to talk badly about, well, other bands for whatever reason. He wasn't mad at Matty at all. If anything, Dan was just sad for the guy and for the industry that he claims embraces and celebrates this kind of behavior. Matty responded on a Chicago radio station, WKQX, with nothing but short-tempered bursts of frustration and disdain towards the band. They didn't even say that they were mad about the comments, and Matty still felt the need to continue bashing them in public. Imagine Dragons are an incredible crew with massive amounts of talent, so it's a real shame that Matty will never truly get to appreciate their music. So sad. Number 8. Taylor Swift. That's right, in 2016, Matty Healy responded to allegations that he and Taylor were dating, calling them emasculating. He was asked if the two had a romantic connection after Taylor was spotted attending several of his concerts that year, and while he hadn't actually spoken to Taylor yet, he seemed to have his mind made up on his feelings towards the singer. He literally responded to "Would you date her?" with "After that." Buddy, what? Taylor Swift is a lyrical genius, and she's only made stronger with the ending of each relationship she's endured. The fact that the two are finally confirming their entanglement should be cause for concern for Matty. You see, the worse the relationship, the more powerful the subsequent song becomes. Matty has had a long history of substance issues, racial tirades, and public displays of aggression, so it would make sense that Taylor would get together with 1975 frontman, if only to get the message out that this guy is nuts and he should be cancelled immediately. Number 7. Kanye West. Kanye has been a controversial figure for quite some time. In most recent years, he's been under heavy fire for his anti-Semitic rants on stage and racially fueled tweets. It was concerning then to fans when this somehow inspired Matty to throw out a little salute. Be familiar to anyone who knows their world history. This was during the song "Love It If We Made It," and the line he sang while he gave the salute was "Thank you, Kanye, very cool." The line is intended to make fun of Kanye, as that was famously tweeted by Donald Trump in 2018 after Kanye publicly endorsed the former president, but he called Kanye out in a recent interview saying that he clearly has some issues upstairs, but that's no excuse to be anti-Semitic. Hey man, you do it on stage all the time with like no warning. At least Kanye has an excuse. Number 6. Metallica. Metallica have been a prominent rock metal band since 1981. Their fast tempo, instruments, and aggressive musical mashups made them one of the founding 4 bands of thrash metal. The crew has also constantly been berated and bullied by one Matt Healy. In an interview with Pitchfork in 2022, Matt was asked if he was a fan of the band. Their song Master of Puppets had recently returned to the charts after being featured in the finale of Stranger Things Season 4. Rest in peace, Eddie. Healy quickly snapped and said he freaking hated Metallica, dude. He went on to name several of the bands that he did enjoy without giving much of a reason for his hatred towards Metallica. He's been quoted as calling them the worst band of all time. Now, I happen to know a billion people that would highly disagree with that statement, including members of Metallica themselves, who responded to these comments in the most Metallica way possible, by ignoring him and reminding the world that he's not worth any of their time. Number 5. Adam Friedland. Adam is your typical woman hater living in his mama's basement, so naturally he got started in stand-up comedy. He started in small clubs and open mics before getting a big break, joining a podcast that is just filled with disgusting comments and notions about women. Seriously, like, don't listen to the trash these guys call content. While Adam himself is extremely problematic, Matt Healy appeared on an episode of The Pod, and he fit right in. The conversation ended up consisting of Healy making misogynistic comments over and over again, and at one point even referencing fellow musician Ice Spice in some very choice words. During the same interview, the discussion of watching adult videos came up, and Healy, without prompting, shared that he enjoyed a type of content that is just not worth repeating, like, we will get demonetized. This podcast seemed to prove the theory that his bad boy persona is not just some stage gag, but it's actually his genuine personality. He later apologized for his comments on the podcast, but hey, some of the things he said in the moment of the interview, you just cannot take back, no matter what. You just can't. Number 4. Bandmates. Well, Matty has certainly made a name for himself as a unique individual, making the audience swoon, cringe, and gag in equal measures with his highly questionable onstage antics. Up to this point, he has kissed several audience members by just dragging them on stage, of course consensually. He's sucked thumbs, he's had his chest tattooed, and he's even eaten raw meat on stage live in front of his audience. The 1975 brought their controversial tour to Leeds earlier this year while promoting their latest album, Being Funny in a foreign language. During the show, it seemed that Matty wanted to get something off of his chest about racism, which did not go well with his bandmates. In a video shared on TikTok, Matty approaches the mic and begins to say, "I don't think it's a racist thing to say," at which point his bandmates hammered on the music and cut him off. Matty was visually frustrated, but immediately popped into singer mode. Now, this was a good move by the band, as not only would this have probably ruined the flow of the show, but hey, it would have brought on a lot of unwanted negative press to the tour itself. Number 3. Zane Lowe. Zane is a DJ, radio host, and television presenter from New Zealand. Zane invited the controversial Healy onto his show and got to know the 1975 frontman, specifically his opinions on fans. You see, he suggested that artists who participate in paid meet and greets were exploiting fans and their passion for money. While apparently it's okay to charge hundreds of dollars to attend a concert that these guys put on, it's not okay to make a few bucks meeting face to face with people who love your work. In the interview, Matty went on to claim that if the celebrity in question had to take the $20 from the fan themselves, it would be a very different interaction. The DJ was quick to remind Healy that meet and greets vary from length and time. For instance, at Fan Expo in Toronto, meet and greets tend to last like a few minutes, with fans being able to actually have conversations with the people they're meeting, and they get to snap some pics with their heroes too, so it's kind of a bonus. Healy stood by his statements and called the idea of meet and greets disgraceful. Well, that's just disgraceful that you feel that way. Number 2, The Guardian. The Guardian is a well-respected news outlet that has seemingly covered Healy's career pitfalls over the years. They somehow always have the latest info about the singer's personal issues, and the articles written about Healy and his behavior are wild. Not only do they chronicle his ranting and his overall lack of chill, but they tell a story of a man who is unaware of the damage he's actually causing. One particular scandalous entry is from February of this year. At that time, Healy had resurrected an old trend of bringing fans on stage and kissing them with their consent. He was doing this constantly at shows, which was unfortunate, as it's now been confirmed that there was something happening between him and Taylor Swift at the time, so he was kind of like publicly cheating on her? I don't know. They've also covered the specifics of Healy's racially fueled rants, whether it's on a podcast or on stage. Matty is their favorite train wreck to write about, and they will continue to do so until he is officially canceled. And finally, number 1, Matt Healy. That's right, Matt Healy has been crying out from the inside for a large portion of his career. While the behavior on this list has been rough to say the least, it's Healy himself who was warning us all along. He's been so chaotic since the very beginning of the band's inception in 2002. A large portion of his issues can be attributed to his difficult battle with substance control that lasted for 4 years in his 20s. Healy came clean in a recent interview with Rolling Stones and confirmed that he had been addicted to a controlled substance for 4 years in the early days of the band's history. A lot of his early onstage antics then were the result of him just being under the influence, and some of that may have stuck with him despite kicking the habit. This must have some kind of mental toll on the artist though, as his behavior only seemed to become more and more controversial. His comments have become unhinged and unwanted, and he's basically a musician that uses his time between songs to share his messed up views. So if that's not a cry for help, I don't know what is. And there you go. Who else tried to warn us about Matt Healy and his true nature? Leave your comments down below, and we will see you next time.